Are you ready for the Low Bros Network?
I'm just like, how do I talk again? I've had bollocks. How do I have a conversation? Well,
No, we're just going to jump in. It's recording now.
cool.
So we're just going to...
Hi, everyone.
Stop resetting.
Hi, everyone.
Stop resetting.
Hi, everyone.
Stop being a podcast. It's just a natural chat.
Welcome to the...
You're not the
Nash.
host. This is me. Like, it's my name. I'm in the podcast. Like, how are you not getting it? We're just going to have a natural conversation. Okay? Is that okay? Just be natural.
Do we have a jingle? Or what, you know, those things that play
There's
like...
a song playing in the background.
It's not... I don't know what the song is. I've never listened to it.
Thanks, man. Thanks, Jesus. You really know how to butter up. Fuck me, like. Corporate Cian, how are you?
Grand, yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah. A bit tired, but excited, because apparently The Walking Dead is back soon.
Yeah, you don't know. You're like the super fan.
I don't
That's
know.
where we're getting
I
it
don't.
on.
I don't know when The Walking Dead is back.
This Monday.
Fuck off.
Yeah. It's coming back on Monday.
It's normally
well, it's on Sunday, like in the US.
Yeah,
where
but
it's on
Monday
a
for
Yeah.
this week.
Yeah, this week.
See, I don't have time to watch it on Monday because I literally come back from college and sleep. Because
Right.
I'm up early, then like I'm back mad late. But
Right.
Tuesday, yeah, I'll definitely watch it then.
There you go.
Because normally it's the end of October. That's why I was thinking, I didn't know we were doing this because it's on like this Monday. I thought it was
Yeah.
like, a few weeks. Yeah, grand, cool.
No, does it make sense now?
Man, I haven't watched any trailers for anything yet. But I'm excited though.
There's trailers out, and that's kind of what I guess I want to discuss. We are going to, so you're very welcome to Nash. A minute and a half in, we're doing it. Stop. Natural, be cool, man. It's different. It's loose, man. But you're listening to Nash. We're going to do a podcast because The Walking Dead is back this Monday. So we're going to give it a preview because Corporate Cian is a huge Walking Dead fan.
It's one of the only shows I watch.
This is
like
it.
it's a non-wrestling show that I actually watch. Can you believe that?
But like, not only that, but you bring your pro wrestling level of obsession towards it as well. Like, that's what I like about it. It's something that's not pro wrestling that you talk about like pro wrestling. Do you know what I mean? With the same kind of enthusiasm.
Yeah, like, I'll admit now I'm rusty as fuck because it's been like months since it was on. I don't really remember. Like, I'm not sort of person who can say like, in season 7, episode 3. I actually can't differentiate the seasons after I leave the prison. I couldn't tell you what happens in what season.
Yeah.
And I actually had to ask someone the other day what season we're coming up to.
Yeah.
It's 10, apparently. But while it's on, yeah, I'm heavy into it. Like, I love it. I think it's fucking great. Like, it grabs me in a way that like other shows don't. You know, like Game of Thrones. Every single week we have in the podcast, and I'd be like, I feel quite neutral about this massive event, whereas like The Walking Dead, it'll be like Jerry smiled, and it really did catch me in a way that, like, you know what I mean? Like, something like that.
Soliloquies writing haikus about Rick. Were you emotional when Rick left? Do you think that it needed to happen, or do you think that it hurt the show?
I'm in the camp of like I love it because you know me at this stage, I'm more into like kind of minor characters, and but this is why I love The Walking Dead, because in The Walking Dead I actually am into the main characters, not Rick, but like the likes of Ezekiel and who's the other one that's coming out of my head now, Negan, love him to bits. But Rick, I didn't hate Rick at all. Amazing actor, and I never notice amazing acting because I don't really know the difference. Yeah. But like,
you just buy everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah,
Keen Fave TV.
But again, what happens is I go on Reddit afterwards, and then I'll be like, "Have you seen his acting? Like, go back and watch the emotions he did in this scene." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like, he actually is amazing. Yeah. So I love Rick. I love the actor. How did I feel about that episode? Yeah, I was getting emotional watching it. And like when I thought that he was dead, I was like, no, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even though like, part of me is really excited to see like who fills the time that's like left out now by Rick. I was really sad, and then when it turned out that he was alive, and I googled it, and he's probably going to be in movies later on. I'm like, perfect. He's not in the show, but he's not dead, and he'll probably come back.
You were okay with that?
Yeah, I loved it.
Like, I just felt it was such a, like, again, it's like, we talked about this in Low Blows last week, where it's, in wrestling, it's like, I hate where you could see the politics of wrestling, and you're like, it's booked to be a double DQ, because neither man can get pinned, and stuff like that, in like, big indie wrestling shows and stuff, in a really well-built match. But for me, that was similar in The Walking Dead when he died, when he didn't die, because it was like, you could see the politics at play where you're like, oh, they're going to make standalone movies. So this perfectly logical moment where you've actually built me to a crescendo where I am upset and I'm actually, because I'm like, the difference between us and the reason I want to have this conversation is I'm kind of out on The Walking Dead. I don't dislike it, and I've watched it since the start, and I was at your level, like, up until a few years ago, but like for me, I'm kind of out on it now, and it was an episode that got me back. And it's like, oh, the throwbacks when they had Shane in there as well. They got him in for a guest star.
The one thing I didn't like about that, and you're talking about politics, I didn't know about it because I'm not really good at keeping up with, like, you know, the behind the scenes sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's not as big of a thing in TV though either. Like, it's
yeah, but actually it has affected The Walking Dead a lot. You've seen it with like I think it was Carol's death or something like that, where it was like. There's something to do with contracts. I don't follow it, so I'm talking bollocks. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
With one thing that bothered me was that apparently, remember they did all the throwbacks, and one of them. Well, first of all, one of them was Herschel, who's actually dead in real life, and that got me heavy.
When he actually died, or when he died in the show, or both?
Well, both, but like also when they brought him back, and not only is the character dead, but so is the actor, and it's like, oh my god! But it's that was really weird.
Yeah.
But when I had Sasha, and I was like. Fuck off! Why are you here? Go! I didn't like you when you were alive. But apparently, like everybody was speculating in the threads afterwards, like that was clearly going to be like Glenn, but Glenn hates AMC or some shit.
Right.
Because, by the way, when I say Glenn, I call the actors by their character names.
We're going to do that.
I don't know. That's not even key in favour. I just don't know most of the actors' names. Stephen Yeun, is that it?
Yes.
Look at that.
It's really good.
But,
I didn't know that until you said. I recognised it when you said it.
Yeah, no, it's because it was the only like Asian sounding name in the opening credits.
And what's Negan's name? I know that.
Oh, it's
Jeffrey.
It's an abbreviation.
Jeffrey D.
Dean
Epstein.
It's definitely not Epstein. That's someone else.
Is it?
Epstein is the pedo lad who got killed in prison.
Okay, fair enough.
Please look up because I know is it.
People
I was going to say, is it
screaming.
JDP? That's not J. That's someone else.
It's not JDP, the Northern Irish wrestler.
Because they abbreviated it in the thread. It took me ages to realize they were talking about the actor, and I was like, oh.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That's it.
JDM.
Yeah.
It's close enough to JDP.
Yeah. You see where it's coming from. Yeah. We just turned on season 10. It's like, that looks familiar. It's like,
we gotta get out of here. Alright, so take me back to the start, because we do have to eventually kind of put some kind of form on this conversation. I do like how we're jumping around though. Take me back to the start of your Walking Dead obsession. Were you a day oneer in it, or did you catch it halfway through and binged it, or how's it worked?
I was very close to the start of it, so. Right. The season 1 was already like made. It was already put out. This is back when RTE were doing like reruns of it. Remember RTE used to have The Walking Dead?
They still do.
Do they?
Yeah, it's like a year later, so no one pays attention.
Season 2 definitely wasn't out at this stage, because I remember that. I was going to the Hellfire Club with my cousin, and I was like, this is actually shocking, right? Guess how old I was when The Walking Dead came out? I was about 12.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realise that. I was like, whoa, because it doesn't feel old. Yeah. But it's actually been there for like almost half my life now. That's shocking.
Like a third of mine.
But, yeah, Jesus. But I remember we were waiting for like his dad to get ready, so we were just sitting there, and I remember there was some lad screaming at people. He was on a roof with a sniper, and I was like, oh, who's this lad? And he's like giving people abuse, and he's fighting, and then he ended up getting like handcuffed on the roof, and I'm like, oh, this looks fascinating. And then
this is The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
I thought you meant the Hellfire Club. All right.
No, this is on the TV, but I don't know what I'm watching at the time.
Right, okay.
And this is what kind of grabbed me. I was like, oh, this actually looks really fascinating. And there's all the stuff with the tank, and there's all the stuff with basically I end up looking it up and watching the whole season 1 in its entirety. It turned out that I was talking about the T-Dog and Merle Dixon scene, where T-Dog accidentally drops the key and Merle is like, fuck you.
Yeah, you're taking me back there.
Yeah,
Jesus.
and like, you want to know the mad thing is, my first favourite character, before my actual favourite character showed up later on, was T-Dog, and his death killed me. Yes, it was T-Dog.
He's in your videos, isn't he? You've mentioned him a lot.
I probably have at one point, like, because I loved him to fucking bits.
That rings a bell with you being obsessed with T-Dog, because he's the perfect Eric Rowan character.
Because he was just like, it was just
he's
one of those
a meme,
things.
like.
He was still alive, and it was just, they just kind of forgot about him at one point, where it was like, T-Dog, grab your gun. It's like, I'm still on the show, what the fuck?
Have they killed him off? Like, what happened to him?
You don't remember his death?
No.
Oh, okay, well, there's a main character still alive that's only alive because of him. Carol. So basically, do you remember they went to the prison, right?
Yeah.
And do you remember there's 5 prisoners there?
Yeah. Already there.
And one of them was a prick, so they didn't kill him, but they kicked him out of the prison.
Yeah, I remember that.
He let the gate open as revenge, and all the zombies came in.
Yes.
T-Dog got bit on the back or the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then he was like, fuck, I'm bit. And he was running through the hallway with Carol, horde of zombies there, and he's like, do you know what? Fuck it. He sacrificed himself into the zombies. They ripped him alive, ate him alive. Carol's horrified, but she survived, and now she's still here today.
No way.
And she ended up saving the whole... Man, as I'm talking to you now, she saved the whole group of Sanctuary as well, didn't she?
Yeah.
That's all because of T-Dog. So I'm justified. and do you want to know... Fuck it, I know I might be skipping ahead a bit here.
No, we'll jump around.
Do you want to know who my favourite character is?
Go on.
Another man who ended up saving everyone's life as well. Eugene.
Okay.
He's my number one. By far my number one. I love Jerry. I love Ezekiel. I have a good few favourites. This is why I love The Walking Dead, the characters. But Eugene's my favourite.
Okay,
Will I explain it?
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
Right.
I'm all in.
So, people always love... I always prefer thinking characters over action characters. I love the Herschels, Dales, Miltons. They're my favourite characters.
Right. Dale, that's a fucking throwback.
Yeah. I remember
Holy
Dale.
shit.
Fuck you, Carl. That's your fault. I'm glad you died. But obviously they killed Dale because Herschel came in. They're kind of like, well, you're both kind of the same. but I love them both. So what was I saying? Yeah. So I love the thinking character. Everyone else loves the action character because they're like, if I was in a zombie apocalypse, I'd be Daryl. I'd go around killing all the zombies. No, you wouldn't. You'd be crying because the internet went down, your family's dead, and all the Pringles are stale. You'd probably kill yourself in about a week, right? Let's be real about this. At least that's what I'd probably do. But the reason I love Eugene is because, first of all, he uses intelligence to survive. Okay. Secondly, he's not intelligent. This is why I love Eugene. Eugene has a secondary school level intelligence of science, but it's something he's interested in and something he remembers, and he knows big words. Yeah. He waffled his way through survival. He waffled his way to Washington with Abraham, and he waffled his way through Negan's fucking death camp, and he made all the right moves to stay alive. And I love the I remember, and this is why I hate Rosita. Fuck Rosita, right? Do you remember? Do you remember Rosita? Right, first of all, nearly got him killed. I don't remember how it happened exactly, but she got him. Eugene being in Negan's compound was as a result of something she did. I can't remember the details. But I remember her and someone else, maybe Tara or one of them, trying to break him out and being like, come on, Eugene, let's go. And he's like, no. And she got angry at him, and it's like, are you dumb? Break him out, run away, and then what? Negan knows where he is. Like he's got no plan B. So I hate Rosita. I love Eugene. He makes all the right moves. And I just love... I don't consider Eugene slimy. But I love slimy characters that manage to like outlast all the cool characters, the tough guys. Gregory was a bit of a prick, but I respected Gregory because he was so scared, such a pussy. Do you remember Gregory?
Yeah.
He was so
like he only died last season.
He got hung as well.
Spoilers, by the way, lads.
I would hope we clarified that at the start.
No, we didn't.
But I mean, you'd be pretty mad to go on like a Walking Dead season 10 preview podcast and be like, I hope they don't mention the Walking Dead. But I love Eugene. Just even the things.
Gregory, sorry, you were getting into.
Oh, Gregory, I didn't love Gregory, but I did respect him a lot. You know what I mean? And like just the way he was able to just like get through like season after season. And you're like, how is he not dead yet? You know what I mean? Like I love that.
And like he was one of those guys that like he's the anti-Eugene, because there's a part of us that like kind of supports Eugene, even when like it looked like he was going bad and he was with Negan. You're like, I still remember liking you. You know what I mean? I don't like your current direction, but I get where you're going, where you're doing it. But also, like, I do like you. But whereas Gregory's the anti-Eugene, where it's like, I hate that guy. But like, he's doing the exact same. You're right. He's playing the exact same game, and he is making like moves at all times that you're like, that is the intelligent move. That's the move that best keeps you alive. You're playing a chess game here and everyone else is playing checkers. Like, so I get that, but then like his undoing was he just tried one move too far when he made a move on Maggie. And it's like, right, okay, you're done now. And he just went one step too far. He tried to see too far ahead. He was always 2 steps ahead of everyone, but he tried to be 3 steps ahead.
But you know what makes it so impressive on Eugene's part is the fact he's making all these moves while at the same time being incredibly socially inept. You know what I mean? The lad's, he's got no social skills. You know what I mean? Like, and this is, I just love him for it. He's so awkward. Remember fucking Abraham Rosita would be fucking, and he'd just be there like, I'm just here. I don't know where else to go. He's just there watching him like. His awkwardness is just so amazing. I love that man. I love him so. And he's got even little things like people telling him to get a haircut and him being like, no, I like it. I relate to him. I relate to him on a level.
Right.
But yeah, and like, but just you know what's gas as well? When he sided with Negan, and I thought he was going to side with Negan, I actually started to side with Negan too. And that's something I actually wanted to ask. What's your stance on, well, not now, because obviously Negan's kind of turning a corner and stuff, but what was your stance on Negan as a dictator?
I was interested in his ideas.
Yeah.
There were a lot of good ideas that, like, again, like, what I liked about him and his ideas were they're, like, in an actual zombie apocalypse, you would need to be a Negan to survive. Like, and The Walking Dead this was kind of why I wrestle with it so much, because there's a lot of heavy themes, and this comes from the comics where it's like it's like, you know, ultimately you'd have to be a fucking ruthless dickhead to survive. You know what I mean? So it's tough to make the characters likable because of what they'd realistically have to go through and do to still be there at that stage in the game. Whereas you would need a Negan. A Negan, I totally see him succeeding, and like, he had his rules, he had his code, wire quote, every man needs a code, and we could see Negan's code. We got it. We got why he disciplined people, and he explained it with his soliloquies and stuff. You know, for me, he was a lot cooler in the comics. You know what I mean? Because I enjoyed his. I enjoyed him in the comics because, like, it just came across as more natural, because you can be sensationalistic in the comics. You can have soliloquies and stuff like that in a comic. And, like, you're like, yeah, but I'm an adult reading a comic, so, like, what do they expect? You know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, that's not realistic. It's like, these are literally drawings. So you don't mind it, but when you're watching it play out in The Walking Dead, you're like, yeah, it's a bit hammy. So I get why people were a bit out on him, and he didn't live up to expectations. Although I thought they portrayed him the way he was in the comics, but that doesn't necessarily translate. But I did like his code. I like the way he's like, I have to kill people. I like the way we don't know much about his past. So we're kind of getting into it a bit now. We don't know much about his past, but you sense there's a decent person there who had to learn a different way. And there's just a darkness there where we're like, we can see the light, we can see the good person, we can see the logic. He kind of can bring you over to, like, you buy into the cult of Negan when you're kind of watching him and stuff, because you're like, do I like the charismatic guy with the cool bat and the leather jacket more, or do I like fucking scraggly old Rick? Like, Rick is so fucking vanilla.
Or
like,
Maggie. I'm not a Maggie fan.
Okay, go on.
I don't hate her, I just don't think she's great. Like, I mean, I know what the casting is. I didn't notice until near the end of the show that she was gone.
Yeah, but they just kind of went over, because this is another example of politics, because it's like, she left but on indefinite hiatus. So she left the door open for her to come back. So, like, when they did the time jump, it was more like, oh, Maggie's not here anymore, but she might come back.
But I didn't even notice someone saying that. I might have been getting my onion rings ready or something like that. I wasn't even paying attention. Like, I don't remember anyone even mentioning her departure.
It was when Jesus, do you remember when they cut forward to the future? And I think it was the next episode after the future jump. So for anyone who's kind of out on The Walking Dead, basically, long story short, Rick left the show. They faked out a death scene with Rick, and then it turns out someone saved him, and he flew off to make standalone movies. Again, I'm not big on that.
I'm too massive into that.
Okay, fair enough. But, like, then the next scene, they did a time jump where it went ahead 4 years, and you got to see Rick's daughter Judith, and she's kind of grown up. She's not like, oh, grown up. Like, she's still a kid, but, like, she's a badass kid. Like, she's Rick Grimes' daughter. And then, like, kind of, I think it was the start of the next episode after the time jump where it's Jesus and, what's the other girl's name who was in charge? Tara, yes.
Rest in peace, but I'm assuming we'll get to that.
Yeah, of course. it's him and Tara discussing, like, the plans, and Tara's like, oh, Maggie says she's well, and she may come back one day. Anyway, moving on.
But I love that. But you know what, the reason I love it as well, it's not just because she left, but she left with someone, presumably, the one who looks a bit like Mrs. Doubtfire. What's her name?
The one who looks like Mrs. Doubtfire? I don't know.
But I like that because she is a very interesting character to me. Somebody who's got, like, it's like another level. It's like she's got, like, there's something there. Like, she has her shit together. Do you know
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. The one, the lesbian, is it?
I don't know if she's lesbian. Was that
she
relevant
not in a relationship?
Am I not thinking?
No, she was in a relationship with someone.
Was she?
Am I right in saying that?
She's a blonde hair, kind of old.
Glasses. The glasses. No, wait, I'm thinking of, did that girl die?
You're thinking of Tara.
No, not Tara. No, I know Tara's dead. I'm not talking about her. Like, the one that I'm thinking of die. Because she's a bit younger. She was a doctor. Or she wasn't.
She died ages ago. That was Olivia.
Fucked if I know the new names. I stopped caring that. What's the priest name again?
Oh my god, am I Gabriel?
Gabriel, yeah.
It's Gabriel,
He's the last name. I was going to say he's the last name that I learned, but like I did learn his name. I've just been watching The Wire recently, so he's Carver to me now. But like Gabriel was like the last name that I learned. I've stopped learning names now. I know Aaron. I know him because he's cool. He's one of my faves.
Really?
Yeah.
Aaron?
Yeah.
I thought he was... I actually remember the Lucille scene.
You were rooting for him, were you?
What?
You were rooting for him to get done.
No, I was rooting for Sasha. I wanted Sasha to get her head
Yeah,
bashed.
yeah,
I hated Sasha.
Yeah,
but,
I agree with that.
but I thought it was him. I was like, it's Aaron. Because I remember, do you remember the trailer came out and it showed who it wasn't? And it was like, it's not him, it's not him. I don't hear Aaron. And it's because he was fairly irrelevant. It wasn't because he was dead. But I was like, everyone in school was like, it's Aaron, it's Aaron. I know it's Aaron, I know it's Aaron. And fuck it, we talked about the Lucille scene?
Yeah, let's get to it. Yeah.
Right. So I think I may have mentioned this on another podcast before. May have been off air.
We did. We talked about it on, I think, last week on Ask Low Blows.
Where it was like I was in school and I was desperate to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
The most anxious I've ever been trying to avoid spoilers in my fucking life. A 6-month cliffhanger was cruel and pretty unnecessary. And I remember, like, it's not like now where nobody fucking watches it and I can just go to college traumatized, like, hey, who watches The Walking Dead so I can talk about what happened and nobody knows. This is like where people in my class watched it. Yeah. So I was like, if somebody says who died, and people would be like, oh, it was on Instagram, it was spoiled on me. It's like, if you say a fucking word, I'll rip your throat out, you cunt. And I'm not normally like that, but that's
I know,
like,
that's funny.
That's like
aggressive corporate kid.
That's
amazing.
where I'm at with that. Like, do not fucking spoil that shit on me. And and I remember, like I think I said, sorry, we had like an Alcoholics Anonymous talk with like these people that came in to talk in library, and we were saying like how fucking gas it'd be if one of them went, you wake up in the morning and your head's thumping, kind of like Abraham after he got his head bashed in by the which thankfully it didn't happen. I managed to avoid spoilers all day.
Nice.
And my stomach watching that episode when I got home. No, I used to eat little onion rings before they got taken out of the shop. That was my food of choice from watching The Walking Dead.
Right.
I was in the middle of eating. I couldn't, because it wasn't because of like the gruesomeness of the deaths. It was before the deaths. It was the tension. It was like you know what's coming. And the thing that I noticed about this is that I never read the comics. Most people I know actually haven't read the comics, but everyone knew that in the comics Glenn dies in the scene. It's a famous scene.
Yeah.
And
like in the comics, like I'm raging that I read that bit because that's one of the most traumatic scenes. Now it's different in the comics. They don't do the circle. It's not like the way it is. They don't do the circle. It's like Negan just like, it's so sudden and shocking and such a twist because there's no build up. It's like literally, I can't remember the exact scene, but like as far as I can recall, it's literally like Negan confronts him on the road and is pissed off at them and then takes Glenn's head off. And it's like, what? What? That's Glenn. That's fucking Glenn. That's such an important character. That's someone who stays until the end. Rick doesn't stay until the end, but Glenn survives.
Yeah.
Glenn is the last
He's
one
the lad who saved Rick from the tank.
Exactly.
And that got me proper emotional when I started thinking about like season 1 and all that, and I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Everyone, like, the Shanes are dead, the Lauries are dead, Carl's still around, but like, a lot of the lads that are in season 1 are dead, but Glenn's still there because he's Glenn. He played such a vital role.
What they did as well, very well, was like the way, do you know the way they had his eye hanging out of his head?
I thought it was kind of funny.
That's, but that's a thing from the comics.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, like they actually did that, like, and it was cool because when you saw that in the comics and when you saw it in the TV show, you're like, oh, he's not coming back. like this is done instantly. Like it's like he's dead. He is dead now. There's no hope for this. There's no backsies. He's dead. Do you remember you thought he died and he didn't die?
I was going to say that we had to witness Glenn die twice. That's cruel. Like,
but I think the first time when they faked out his death, they were testing this. I think it was a test for this. Like it was like, right, how will people react? Can we kill Glenn?
I want to get back to the Lucille scene for 1 second.
Go.
Before I get
into
to that,
it,
I just want to say, what did you think of Nicholas?
Nicholas, who's
he
Nicholas?
used the lad, no, because everybody hated Nicholas basically. He was the lad on the dumpster with Glenn, and everyone was I hate Nicholas, but my comeback was always, Nicholas wasn't that bad. Like, he did kill Nicholas, in fairness. Like, but so to go back to the Lucille scene, what I loved was how they dealt with that. Was how everyone's expecting Glenn, and then they get Abraham, and you're like, oh, no. And then once they kill Abraham, you're like, well, at least that's it. And then they get Glenn. You're like, you fucking prick. Fuck you, what the fuck? Like, I'm not a reaction person. I don't really enjoy watching reaction YouTubers. Most people don't. Like, they're pretty boring. But when it comes to The Walking Dead, there's 2 scenes. You know what, the other one, right? Well, I'm assuming we're going to get to it. But, like, this is the other one, where it's like, I love watching people's reactions. Like when Abraham goes, they're like, "Oh no!" and like, "Oh no!" and like some of them are crying, like, "Oh no!" And then when Glenn gets picked, they're like, "Ah!" And you see, like, you know, like the teenage girl stan account having people, you know, the ones that it's like, "No!" and they've got like Glenn posting in the background. My favorite, I should really dig it up. It's somewhere. I'll find it. Was where there was like 3 of them and they were cosplaying and they were like, they're pretty young. They're like, I don't know, like a bit younger than me or whatever. But they were like obsessed with The Walking Dead and they were like, yo, fuck you, and one of them was like crying in the middle, and and he's like dressed up as like Rick or whatever. He's like, but they're dead serious. They're not fucking. This isn't a troll video. They're dead. They're just like, fuck you, Ames, fuck you, Negan, you bitch. And they're like, he's like proper. I was like, oh shit, I've never reacted to a show like that. Even like at my peak, and I nearly cried at some of this shit. But like, Jesus. Yeah.
Like it's funny because that was the beginning of the end for The Walking Dead, as like, cause that was one of the biggest events. Like it's like Game of Thrones in the last series where it became like so big, it flew too close to the sun, and it became so big that one episode became a massive event, and then people were so unhappy that they didn't get what they want. Exactly like Game of Thrones. They were so unhappy that they didn't get what they want, or like they felt that like they're like the writing's dead. It was the exact same. And then that was the end for a lot of people. They just, like, literally, the viewing figures show it plummeted almost straight after that episode. But it's funny because from a wrestling standpoint, you can compare it to wrestling, and then it's like, you know, I'm not booing this because he's a heel and they want me to boo. I'm booing it because I'm not a fan. It's like, it hit on too close of an emotion. But you brought up something there that I want to talk about, because I have. But question is, have you ever cried at The Walking Dead?
Probably, but I can't think of a scene off the top of my head. I feel like there should be 1 or 2.
Right.
I just can't think of it. Like, surely, I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't cry during the Carol scene. I didn't cry during the Laurie scene.
No, fuck
T-Dog was more kind of shock and kind of like anger.
Yeah.
Herschel, close.
Oh, yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
You see, there is things I like with the
because he had that little moment where he just like kind of smiled and looked up, and then he immediately got his head lopped off. It was too gruesome to cry though.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you got that little reaction. You're like,
you see, what happened to me, what ruined the moment for me was that I was eating Pringles. And what happened was, right, normally in and this is kind of something I do reluctantly love about it, is the fact that normally in a scene like that, they've got a gun to their head or a knife to their throat, and the bad guy's like, I'm gonna kill you, and then another good guy's like, you won't kill them, and they're like, you got me there. But in this, he was like, I remember he like pulls his sword away, and I'm like, here we fucking go, right, he's done. And as in like, he's not gonna kill him, you know, that kind of way. Liar, and just go straight for the throat. I was like, so basically I gasped, and like one of the Pringles, it was kind of like I'd already like munched on it, so it was like bits of it like in my mouth, and I went straight to the back of my throat, and I was like,
you nearly ruined Pringles on yourself.
I choked.
Like you're playing a dangerous game. Like you're watching you're eating. Now I know you eat Pringles through everything, but like you're eating Pringles through like something that you're mostly invested in, and also something that like is physically repulsive at times. There's a very good chance you're going to train yourself to dislike Pringles. Because you're going to learn to associate it with these moments then.
But the gruesomeness of The Walking Dead, you kind of become a bit numb to it. You kind of become a bit insensitive to it. Although I say that, but speaking of gruesome deaths, and I had a feeling this would come up at some point, Noah's death.
That was in the revolving door.
Yes. Yeah. That's why everybody hated Nicholas. I knew there was something.
Yeah,
it was Noah. And that pissed me. I love Noah. And because I love Everybody Hates Chris as well. That's like my favourite show, like one of my favourite shows ever. So like, that pissed me off. And I understand it's scary, but if they all just stuck together, they'd have been fine. But no, stupid scary McScared face Nicholas wants to fucking move out of the way and I can't even see, my brain doesn't understand how it works because my brain just doesn't get it. But like Noah ended up getting caught in the revolving door, and they literally, it wasn't even they ate him, they ripped him. They ripped him open.
It was sick.
Like, it was vile.
Instantly, like in seconds, like he wasn't even human within seconds. He was just pieces.
I mean, my stomach is genuine. Do you know what? Oh my god, it's actually really funny, right? Do you know what my assignment in first year, digital skills last year, right? It was me and this lad were working on it. We decided that for our assignment, we had to mash up a video that was from either a show or a movie, 2 different movies / shows, to make one story that made sense. So what we were going to do was like mash up Noah's death in The Walking Dead with like Everybody Hates Chris. But when we watched it back on YouTube to download, we were like, no, turn it off, we're going to do something else. was like, yeah, even like looking back on it, like, you know the way sometimes you look back on things, you're not as sensitive to it now because it already happened and you're expecting. It's fucking nasty. I can't look back on it, like, I can't. So that might be the most gruesome death in The Walking Dead. There was one recently, I can't remember what it was. What was the most, like, gruesome one? There was another one, but it wasn't like...
It kind of washes after a while because there's been so many seasons of it. Like you say, you become numb to it eventually.
I'm not numb to that one, though.
No, that one. See, I want to talk about the one thing that made me cry. I'm going to go way back. It was, genuinely, I was like, am I crying at The Walking fucking Dead? It's not that type of show. They try to be sometimes, but then, like, it's like, no, you're not. I'm not that invested. Do you know what I mean? Not that I'm not invested in the show. I can get really invested in the show, but I'm not like that. I don't feel like I know the characters. There's a disconnect somewhere there where I'm not going to cry about them. But, like, for me, it was back in season 2, the mid-season finale, where the barn door opens.
My reaction to that was, that's deadly. You know what I mean? Like,
one of the best. This is why I can never fully hate The Walking Dead or dump on it like a lot of people do nowadays. Or they're like, oh, it's shite. Yeah, why do you like that fucking zombie shite? People do react that way to The Walking Dead, but that is one of the best twists I've ever seen. And like how within seconds, like you just see her and you process it, and then they cut to all the characters' emotions. Like, so it's Carol's daughter. For anyone who doesn't remember, they spent the whole season, and this is where it started to drag a little bit because, like, again, The Walking Dead, the criticism against it, and I appreciate this, is that like they do a lot of build, and then there's 1 or 2 great episodes in a season, but they're building towards that for the rest. So there's whole episodes that go by, and there's not much going on, but the payoff is usually worth it. So, like, you forgive it and you get used to it. Even you can live with weeks where it's like, man, not a lot actually happened there.
No, but the first half of season 2 was probably the worst for that. I think after
on
that,
the farm.
Yeah. Because the second half you've got, like, you know, the farm getting overrun. You've got like the finale was mad. Yeah. And then you got like Shane and all, like, loads of shit in the second half. But the first half is just build up.
Yeah, and it's just literally like Herschel being like, milk the cows, but there's zombies. It's just like, it's literally people doing rudimentary tasks and reminding you that zombies could attack at any stage. Because they were building towards a big fucking herd coming.
I just talked about season 2 finale there. Do you know what? Another reason I love T-Dog? When they all got into the cars and he's like, we need to go to the coast. And everyone just ignored him and then he died. Like, I mean, I'm just saying, if you follow T-Dog's advice, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
But, for me, he's a lad that should still be there to this day, but whatever.
Still holding the candle, but like, getting back to the barn scene, I loved it because it was like, again, they just panned to everyone's face, and you had that gut reaction, like, because again, it became a running joke, like they're trying, it's like, where's Wally? I remember that was the kind of meme where they were looking for like Carol's daughter and stuff like that, and like, it was like, oh, stop, like, and obviously they were building towards this, so it was worth it, and you forget about that because the payoff was so good, but like everyone's reaction, but like in that slow-mo kind of chip, it just cuts back to her and it's like, and it's like, poof. And it's just like, Shane's like, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck?
But that's the right thing to do,
It's the right thing to do. This is the thing, and this is why I got into it when they started doing that, where it's like Shane versus Rick, and it's like, Shane is doing the right things, he's just being a bit of a dick about them. And Rick, like, this is a character trait. Again, they kind of lost this because it got so popular that there was just so much content, but what I loved for the first few years was how Rick was always wrong. Rick's decisions were always the wrong decisions, but at the time when you tried to make those decisions, you would think the same as him, but then you're like, no, that's the wrong call. Like, every time he makes a big decision, it turns into a shit show, and he accidentally puts the lives he's protecting in danger. Now, he's a badass, so he also saves those lives in the end, but, like, he has to get out of another fucking mess. I want to talk about something, but while we're, like, I don't want to get too caught up in, like, the late, because we will get to a lot of the later seasons, but I want to kind of pay homage to, like, its peak and the things that people know about The Walking Dead by bringing back one of my favorite characters, the Governor. He was, like, for me, a problem with The Walking Dead is, I can sum it up in, like, oh, what's the new storyline? How it's like, it's the zombie apocalypse, but really humans are the real threat. And it's like, they seem to just wheel out, like, constant, like, you know what I mean? Like, they wheel out constant, like, these are now, like, they've had, like, they had, the governor's people, then you had Negan's people, and it's still cool then you had the cannibals, and now you have the whisperers, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's the same story.
Do you remember the wolves?
The wolves, yeah. like it's the same story. It's the same story over and over and over again. And that's the problem, because it's like, but when they did it with the governor, it was fucking fresh. And he was awesome. I love the governor.
Can I ask a question about the governor? Because I don't remember. Like, what made him a bad guy again? Like, what was the turning point?
His daughter. Do you remember he had his daughter, like, locked up because he thought they were going to find a cure? And, like,
was that all that made him a bad guy?
I think that was it. Like, I think he was genuinely a good guy. He looked after his people.
And then Angie and all were like, no, you have to kill her. Was that, am I getting that right?
Yeah. But he was, like, we kind of knew he was a sick fuck, because, do you remember he had, like, the heads in jars in his room in the back?
A bit odd, but
yeah, but because he was trying to study to find a cure.
Oh.
He was trying to study these people, like, but it was just a weird visual. But at the same time, like, he just became a sick fuck because he was getting more and more frustrated because he couldn't accept that his daughter was dead and he couldn't actually achieve the thing he was doing.
Well.
So he was a three-dimensional character, but then do you remember when, like, he was beaten at first, and that really, it wasn't unfulfilling, because there was actually a really good twist in hindsight where they didn't have a big battle with the governor. We thought something big was going to happen.
I remember this.
Yeah.
So I had to choose between wrestling and The Walking Dead that time, I think it was. And it was like, I stayed up for the finale because they hyped it up. 26 characters are going to die.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking of all the characters in the prison. I'm like, oh, is Carl going to die? Is this person going to die? Is that guy going to die? And he just, like, turns on his... and it's like,
yeah, like the non-battle, like, and it was so disappointing at the time, but now you look back on it, it's like, that's ballsy, because they knew they had the bigger battle coming. Like, that was, like, the big battle that they ended up doing with the governor was in the comics. But then they retconned with the governor. Do you remember they went back into it, like, they went away from him for, like, half a season, and then he just came back in.
Yeah.
And then you had to follow his progress since then, and then you started to like him again. So when he turned heel again, leading to the big fuck-off battle.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you were actually on side of him, so that's why I liked him. He was a three-dimensional character.
Do you know what bothered me about the whole governor fiasco?
Go on.
Was when, after the season 3 finale, him, Martinez, and Schumpert all left. Schubert or Schumpert? I think it was Schumpert. All left. And I never got to see... Like, I mean, we were told what happened to Schumpert, but I was really curious because he was there. Like, imagine how awkward that character he must have been. Like, they've just killed out their entire fucking town. Yeah. Everyone's dead. Like, he's on a mad one, and like Martinez and Schumpert are just about like, guess we're cool, I suppose. But like, apparently, like, yeah, I just the fact that we never got to see him again, it's kind of like. So what happened was, for those of you, I mean, I imagine none of you give a shit, but like, Schumpert was the third lad that was with Martinez and the governor, and he just got a bit depressed, and off camera just got like a suicide via zombie bite. Like, he like voluntarily got himself bitten and then died. And Martinez, actually I did like Martinez's death. That was an interesting one. Do you remember that? He got so Martinez had his own group, and I can't remember the details of it, but I remember there was like a pit with zombies in it. I don't know who
ringing a bell.
I don't know who they put in the zombies, but Martinez was on top of a mobile home type thing with the governor, and they're playing golf, and the pit was right beside the mobile home. And as he's like swinging golf, whatever, the governor's like, yeah, I could be completely bollocks in this scene, but I think he gets a go at a golf club, you know, to hit a golf ball, whatever. Whacks Martinez across the back of the head, dumps him in with all the zombies. I think that's how it went. See, now I'm really self-conscious. What if I made all that up? I think it happened.
What if you just dreamt it?
Yeah.
And now we've just got a weird insight into your psyche.
Did I dream it? No, I think that happened. Martinez is dead, and it happened because the governor definitely killed him. But at least we got to see what happened with him.
Yeah, I do remember the governor killing him.
I do wish Schumpert got a moment, that's all.
Like, justice for Schumpert.
I just liked him for no real reason. It was more just kind of like, he's too, like, when you think about it, there's 3, main lads in Woodbury alive now, and he's one of them. So it's not like he's a nobody, but he just hasn't talked. And I'm like, I'd like to hear from him. It's like Mr. Speaker, or like House of Commons, like, I want to hear him on my what they call the honourable gentleman. I want to hear him speak. You know what I mean?
That battle though, the final battle with the governor, that was probably the series at its total peak. That was at its like full like power.
Did Daryl fuck a grenade down a tank? Am I remembering that?
Yeah,
that was cool.
It was and like because it really like it was like a Game of Thrones battle scene because it was a proper battle. There was highs and lows, and they took you from like you got to the stage where like they're genuinely fucked. They've lost this fucking battle. Now I read the comics as well, so like in the comics, what happens? It is Laurie and the baby die in the battle. Like, so ballsy shit's gonna happen because, like, what happens is Rick trying to protect Carl has to abandon Laurie and Judith in the crowd. Yeah, he has to run away from them, or else Carl's gonna die.
Sexist.
But like, so he's with Carl and she's with Laurie, and Laurie's with Judith, and they're running away, and the zombies catch them, and they're like, and Laurie's calling them, and she's like, Rick, and then like he looks back, and he's like, well, if I go back, we're all dead. And then he's got to walk away and, like, just not look back. And he's just like, don't look back. And Carl's old enough to understand this. And he's like, Carl, just keep walking. And it's like, holy fucking shit, this is dark.
I thought she got shot in the comics.
No, I'm fairly sure that's... I could be mixing it up. Maybe it's like, I don't know if he was with someone else. Was it Andrea? It could be Andrea.
Yeah.
He was with Andrea at some stage.
No, because Andrea, I think, is still alive in the comics, which is mad. Imagine that was the case here on the show.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Wrong sister got killed in season 1. Andrea was dog shit, man.
No, she got good. They redeemed her well when they kind of brought in. Because, like, her thing in the comics is that she's a really good shot, which is why they brought it in to the TV show. Because they're like, oh yeah, Andrea, oh fuck. You know what I mean? They kind of just, they just made her the most bland, generic character. And she just became, like, a bit of a drag.
Do you remember how she died as well?
Yeah, she was I remember being in a room by herself.
With Milton, a zombified Milton.
Yes.
So Milton got stabbed.
Yeah.
And all she had to do was, right, she had a pliers by her feet. And all she had to do was grab with her feet, lift her feet up, grab the pliers, and undo her stuff, and then kill Milton, zombified Milton. Couldn't pick up the pliers with her feet. Tried it probably once, realised she couldn't do it. Even though she clearly could do it, just chose not to, wasn't arsed, and then she died. I'm glad she died. That's a very Andrea death as well. You know what I mean? Like, could have done so much more, and you just fucking shot it. So, good riddance.
We've touched on a lot, so let's kind of get into...
Wait, we haven't touched on one character who I love to fucking
Go.
I think Merle Dixon's the cooler of the two Dixons.
Yeah!
And I think he should have stuck around over Daryl. There you go, I said it. But no, I mean, you could keep them both. Yeah, you could keep them both. I like Daryl. I actually do. I went through a period of not liking Daryl because he got really boring during like not last season, but like the seasons before that. There was like a gap there.
He's a little boring now. All he does is like, yo dog. That's all he does.
And a dog adds to it. No,
the dog is great because I love dogs. So I like the fact that there's an animal represented in The Walking Dead.
See, I do fear that they're going to use that as like in a death scene.
100%.
I'm skipping it. Because I skipped it. I never skip things in The Walking Dead except animal deaths. I skipped the tiger's death. Yeah. Never watched it. I knew what was coming. I'm like, I'm not watching this. Yeah. It's a weird one. I can watch any human die. I don't care. Like Sophie. I mean, a little girl coming out like zombified and getting shot in the head. Alright, but like a CGI, a badly CGI tiger in the fucking like, I don't want to see that die. That's really sad. You know what I mean? It's just Ezekiel.
The dog is gonna die.
Yeah,
like, you know it. It's literally set up for it. Now it'll be like the tiger. It'll be a heroic death. It'll be like he's saving everyone else.
I don't want any death. I want all the dogs to be nice and happy, and that's just how it is.
But yeah, like this is kind of my issue with the later seasons, and I know again they have to follow this comic source material, and this is where the way the comics went. They're constantly we're bad humans, and again, but like for me, it's like I want to know about like. Do you ever watch Chernobyl?
No.
There was a scene in it where, like, Chernobyl, it's a mini-series, and it's really good, like, if you ever get a chance, like, it is a really good series, because it's a true story as well, but it's also, like, a horrifically, like, it changes you, like, it scars you. But then, like, what helps scare, like, the story itself, if it was fictional, it'd be harrowing, but the fact that it's real is, like, holy fucking shit, and then you learn how real it actually was, and how true to life it was, but there's, like, an episode in it where they, like, deal with, like, well, what happened to the animals in Chernobyl? And, like, there's basically, like, a mass slaughter had to happen. Now, for their own good, like, it was for their benefit. Because otherwise they live with horrific kind of uranium poisoning and stuff like that. I would have liked to see something like that with The Walking Dead. I feel there's a lot more questions that could be asked. Now, because the reason that hooked me with The Walking Dead was, yeah, do you know what? Like, I love zombie movies, and I've seen so many iterations of the same concept. And eventually you're just playing the same tunes. You know what I mean? To the point that Zombieland is probably the best kind of the zombie movie that connects with me most, because it's about like what would you do in a zombie apocalypse and how would people who plan for this stuff, like it's meta and it gets kind of how the audience feels. But like I was dying for a TV series because I'm like, this can get into all of the questions. You know what I mean? The stuff that movies just don't have the time for, or that's answered in one scene. Like, you know, what if a baby was born in this? What would you do? Is it right to, is it selfish to keep the baby, or should you know what I mean? Those kind of questions and stuff like that. I would have liked to seen something where it was like, what are the animals like? What's the situation with them? Is there like...
They're fine, they're very happy and there's everything.
But like, imagine it was like Game of Thrones, like the books where it's like there's a pack of wild dogs that are going around like teaming up and killing zombies or something like that.
That would be pretty cool.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel there's so many questions that they didn't ask, and instead they continue to go back to this plot point of, but what if like the humans are the real bad people?
This isn't quite what you're getting at, but kind of similar, where it's like unanswered questions. I always have a fascination with characters who just kind of disappeared. Like, remember when Beth died and all the doctors that were in that hospital? They never died. They could show up at any time.
Yeah.
And those sort of characters fascinate me. And I remember looking up, like, do you remember, you probably don't remember Morales? He was in Atlanta with everyone. He was just a normal lad. And him and his family, I don't know why, it was a contracts probably, but they went to Alabama instead of the CDC. Right. And we never saw them again. And then he randomly showed up. He was in Negan's compound seasons later. And Rick was like, mad, and he just killed him. But and apparently all his family was dead as well, which is really sad. But anyway, one of the most horrifying deleted scenes I've ever seen, probably the only one. I don't think I've actually really seen many deleted scenes of The Walking Dead. But do you remember, this is going way back, and you probably don't, but it was like in Atlanta. They got into a scrap with this Mexican gang, and the gang was like, oh, these are the bad guys, you know what I mean? Oh, they want their guns, they want all this. And they show up at the gang's warehouse, and the gang are looking really threatening and stuff. And then out of nowhere, one of the gang's grannies show up, and it's like, Mom, go away. It's like, no, you know, I don't know what she's asked for, but she's like, do these guys want to come in? Or something. Like, go away, upstairs. And turns out they're protecting all the elderly people, and they had a whole nursing home behind them.
Yeah,
so, do you
remember that? Yeah.
Do you remember what happened to them?
No.
Because it got taken out of the show. I looked this up and I was horrified. They actually go basically Rick's group and the gang in TV. They had a deal. It was something about weapons, and they had a peaceful. And they just left.
I remember that. Yeah.
In a deleted scene, they go back to the nursing home before leaving Atlanta, all dead, and all the old people were shot in the head.
Jesus.
Horrific. And it was like Daryl pointed out as well, like, I think Andrea, of course it'd be Andrea, was like, oh no, this place got overrun by zombies. And it's like, Daryl's like, no, look at everyone. Bullet holes in their heads. I think it was the gang members as well were shot dead.
Jesus.
So it's not even like, oh, they put the old people out of their misery. It was like, somebody came in and just massacred everyone and took everything. Horrifying.
Yeah, that's intense.
But that's why I have a fascination with characters who just disappeared and we don't know what happened to them. There's another, I can't remember off the top of my head, I'll come back to me later, but it was characters who like, plenty of little minor, super minor examples throughout the show. But yeah.
What's your thoughts on something that's happening now? And I won't do spoilers, and I hate spoilers. But there's there's heavy characters leaving. Like, so we've lost Rick. We've lost
really?
Maggie.
Yeah, I'm going to avoid that.
There's another one that we know that may be going. I won't get into it.
Better not be Eugene.
But there's another biggie going. And like, what are your thoughts? Like, is there a tipping point where it's like when Carol and Daryl aren't in the show anymore, it's gone? Who is untouchable in The Walking Dead? Like, who is like, they can't kill that person? Is there anyone?
Well, you see,
like, they can and they will kill everyone. If they kill Rick, they'll kill everyone. If they kill Rick and Carl, the story is about the Grimes, and the Grimes are all dead. You know what I mean? Like, that's literally the start of the show. Is the first episode one of the best? By the way, we haven't even mentioned the first episode. One of the best pilots that's ever been. Like, it's up there. Lost as well is another great one. Game of Thrones is another great one. But like, The Walking Dead is one of the best pilots I've ever seen. It's fantastic. The Night Of as well, by the way, like, for an obscure one. If anyone's looking for a great first episode, the rest of the series is a bit shit, but like, the first episode is one of the best you'll ever see. But The Walking Dead, fantastic first season, but it's all about like Rick, and it's telling you his story, and it's like, this is the survivor. This is the avatar. This is the person whose eyes we see the entire world through, and now he's dead. So if they get rid of him, they will get rid of everyone. But is there anyone that's untouchable? Or that like would be for you, Eugene?
Oh, for you talking about me? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Eugene, Jerry. If Jerry dies, I'm going to be fucking raging. Jerry is Ezekiel's pal.
Oh yeah.
And oh man, just was that a scene that made me cry? Probably came closest. Do you remember when all of the kingdom got wiped out? Remember they got massacred, which was horrible. Because I said it at the start. Like I normally don't love main characters with all my heart, but Ezekiel, man, like I would fucking. Anyway, it was him. He's like, oh, everyone's dead, and you know, there's 2 parts to it. The first part is where he gets saved by Jerry. Do you remember this? Where like you're thinking, right, the kingdom's been wiped out. Ezekiel's now going to die. You know, the saviors they have him surrounded. They're a bit. I don't know if it was zombies or the saviors, but it was like someone. No, I think it was zombies. And out of nowhere, one of the zombies gets sliced right up the middle. And you're like, what the fuck was that? And it's a blood-stained Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. That's an awesome moment.
I'm screaming at my TV. But I remember when everyone died, Ezekiel was sitting in his whatever room. He's like, yeah, I'm not your king. Like, don't call me that. And Jerry gave a big, impassioned speech of how he is the king and how, like, you know, you're my king. And I was like, yeah, I definitely cried during that because I'm tearing up now. Man, that got to me. Do you know what else got to me, right?
What?
This is very random. It didn't get to me, but I was a bit frustrated that he died, right? Did you have a favourite saviour? Minor saviour, not Negan, but like...
I didn't bother learning their names.
Okay.
I liked the story of, what's the guy's name with the weird face? But he was a biggie, like, he wasn't a minor character.
Was it Simon?
The guy with whose wife Negan fucked, like, that was really good.
Dwight.
That
yes.
story in the comics was fantastically told. They did all right in the show.
Is Dwight still alive?
I think he is.
Okay, yeah.
I think he just fucked off.
This is another. I love when characters fuck off.
He's definitely coming back. If he isn't dead now, everyone's probably listening to this screaming like, "Oh, yeah!" It was like the season finale last year. It was the biggest thing, and we just forgot. But like, yeah, no, I think he is still alive. I think he just fucked off.
Okay, interesting. No, Dwight. Yeah, I loved how Negan used to like massacre people. Like even if you didn't know them, you'd still be kind of scared watching it. Where it's like in front of everyone, he'd do little things like burning him alive in a furnace. No, but I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah, favorite savior. First of all, I loved Simon. Simon was Trevor in GTA. I don't know. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, no,
Psycho. Even though he was. Unlike Negan, like, you know, in Negan, I'm like, kind of like, in a way, he was justified. I feel like, realistically, in that scenario, you need a dictator who kills one person and scares everyone else into falling in line. I get the logic. I kind of half support Negan in a way. Whereas Simon was like, I'm going to kill all the men in Oceanside. And so, yeah, he was a bit of a psycho, but he was very entertaining. And
he was a brilliant character.
And he was Trevor in GTA, the exact same character in The Walking Dead, which I fucking love. But that actually wasn't my favourite saviour. My favourite saviour was Gavin. You probably don't remember Gavin. Do you remember the kingdom traded with... Yeah, because remember, like, the saviors would come and they'd take things from the hilltop, they'd take things from the kingdom. There was like they had a deal, so it's like, you know, you give us X amount of this and we won't kill you type thing. Gavin came to the kingdom, and he was the kingdom's, responsible thing, whatever. And he had a lad with him called Jared. Jared had really long hair, and he was a massive cunt. He ended up getting killed by Rick in a bar, I think, with loads of other saviors.
Right.
It's hard for me to kind of... You'd know him if you saw him or heard him, but, massive cunt, delighted he died. I wasn't happy when Gavin died. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Gavin was a saviour, and he was doing all this shit with the kingdom, but he wasn't, like, a prick about it. He wasn't like, give me all your shit. It was more like... He was
sound. I remember him.
He was here. He was like... I'm here because I have to be here. Negan told me to be here. I just want to live. Let's just get our business out of the way. I'll go home and you go home and we'll just go about it. You know what I mean? Like, he just so happened to be on the wrong team at the wrong time.
He was reasonable,
And he got a fucking horrible death. He got like a fucking pole through his head or his neck or something by Carl or one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Carl might have been dead at that stage.
I remember Gavin.
And I was and I was like, look up Jared. I want to know what you think of Jared. If you see his face, are you like, fuck you, Jared? Because even I was like, Jared, come on. Like, I love a good cuntish character like the rest, but Jesus, Jared.
He was the guy. He was the guy who started all the shit. Like,
exactly. When the Kingdom and Saviors, they would have been gone. Like, obviously, the Saviors were rarely ever fair about it, but it was like, look, Gavin. It's not Gavin's fault. He's just doing his thing. And so I actually feel a lot of sympathy for the Saviors. Like the ones who are just like, look, I'm here because I have to survive. This is the...
And like, I had to pick a side which best suits my survival. And look, you can admit that looking from their perspective, looking at what Negan had built, that seems like the safest bet. Like staying behind that, like you would look at that and you're like, right, this seems like a place that I'll at least survive.
But even still, a lot of them probably got like captured by Negan. What are you going to say no to Negan? Stay in prison. Like we saw what happened when Daryl got captured, and it was a very simple offer. It was like, you just follow my lead, and you get a room to yourself, you get fed, and that's it. It wasn't like Negan.
But that's really good psychological warfare as well. Like that is quality fucking, like that's mind control. Where it's like, it's really easy. Like you just say yes. and your life is okay. And I'll treat you well. I will treat you well and make you one of the top guys.
But, I mean, he kind of did treat his loyal soldiers fairly
That's
well.
what I mean. He did. He had to look after. No, he had his rules in place, and like again, this is why you can easily get into the cult of Negan. What I want to do, I want to talk because we could go on for like hours. But I want to talk about the most recent season. So, like, where the Whisperers, where like in the kind of the now, unfortunately, there is so many that we can rank the list of people. Where do they fall in terms of like the bad gangs that they fought against?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I'd have to literally sit down and rank myself. Like the thought of just ranking someone out of nowhere stresses me out.
Like the Saviors versus the Saviors.
I don't know, because I love the Saviors. So I'm like, again, because of what I just said, where I care about the individual Savior and why they are where they are. I feel like there's a lot of stories there that we didn't get to hear. Yeah. I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead, but I'm going to, and I don't know how. I would love if there was like a bit of crossover there. We got to hear a bit more about Saviors. Is there?
Well, not the Saviors, but like there's like characters. Big characters.
If we're just to go back, I know like we're a bit all over the place.
No, we are.
Go back to characters who you said they shouldn't kill off. I don't want Morgan ever killed off.
Morgan's in Fear the Walking Dead.
I know, that's why I brought up. I don't know what he does, so no spoilers.
No, I quit after 2 seasons.
I probably sound like a massive dumbhead. I bet he's been massacred in Fear the Walking Dead. Nobody told me.
Now, here's the thing. I think I watched the Fear the Walking Dead when it wasn't good, and apparently it's after getting really good.
I watched episode 1 and it was cringy as fuck, but I'm going to watch it again anyway, because it's a second Walking Dead series.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know why? Apparently they got a plane at one point. Like they fly at one point in a plane, and I want to see what happens in that scenario. You know what I mean? As you're saying,
the Fear the Walking Dead is like the reason I got into it. I was like, it's like this is where we actually ask the questions that I want answered.
Yes, exactly.
This is where we do the rest of the other questions.
I think they might or may not have gone to the coast as well.
Yeah, they go everywhere. They're like in Mexico at one stage, and there's like gangs and stuff like that. And then it's like, It gets a bit Sons of Anarchy at one stage. It's like,
I'm watching this.
So like it's worthwhile, but like at the same time, it was just too much The Walking Dead, and I'm like, my give a shit levels were lowering with The Walking Dead. But you know what? Like the second half of last season got me back in with like what they did with the Whisperers and how they went and the time jump and just the ballsiness. It's like WWE this year. Okay, it's like. Oh, you know what? We were a bit of a sleeping giant. We were asleep at the wheel for a while. We did drop a bit. You know what I mean? We kind of.
But you know they got a new writer in.
Did they?
Yeah, that's Angela Kang.
Right.
That's what the whole thing was. As soon as she got brought in, kind of like, but the Paul Heyman of zombie shows, I suppose.
Yeah.
She got brought in at the start of this season, the latest season there, and as soon as she got brought in, it was like night and day. It was like it revived it for me. This
is the problem with, say, The Walking Dead that I have, where I kind of just put it a little step behind the big shows like Mad Men, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Lost even and stuff like that, where I put it just behind them because like they had one showrunner. You know what I mean? They had the bosses like D&D for Game of Thrones, Vince Gilligan for Breaking Bad, Matthew Weiner for Mad Men, and the shows were like for the entire time, The Sopranos, The Wire, the shows were from season 1, episode 1 until the finale. They were the same show. Do you know what I mean? Now I know Game of Thrones kind of went a bit off at the very end, and that's why it lost people. But like it was the same show, it was just a bit rushed. Do you know what I mean? But like they were the same shows. Whereas Walking Dead, I feel, has been about 4 or 5 different shows. You know what I mean? Do you remember that time in the middle? And it was really good, but where it got really philosophical. Like, do you remember Carol with the kids? Do you remember the kids?
That was deadly.
Yeah.
That was deadly. That twist fucking got me. It wasn't really a crying scene. It was more like a, what the fuck? And that's another one you should absolutely look up for. People's reactions are gold.
Yeah. But like, do you know what I mean? Like, there was a period where it just got really philosophical. It's like, but let's talk about the meaning of life and what is it to live and to die and to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it actually got kind of deep and interesting. And I'm like, oh, I like this new show that has the same characters that I've been watching for 6 years. Yeah. And I did. I enjoyed it, but like now it's a different show from then, and like during the Saviors it was a different show from now. You know what I mean? And that's kind of there's that disconnect there. But they have got me back in the most recent season, building up to the twist. We'll get to what you like. Yeah, we'll get to the twist and the thing there. This is how I knew you were a huge Walking Dead fan. Like, I don't think we talked about that much.
I've never mentioned it before. So basically, like the Whisperers, the reason I'd rank them highly, and maybe I wouldn't, maybe I'd rank them at the bottom and I love everyone else. I don't know. I love a lot of the enemies, but is just the twist, the difference, like Jesus' death. What? Like I didn't even know, but I didn't feel when I saw that death. And I love Jesus. Jesus was one of my favorites, but I didn't feel for that death because I was like, what? Do you know what I mean? Even
it's just disbelief.
It just happened. I was like, what? You killed what?
because you were like, Jesus is the most badass.
And he's the most... He's essentially an MMA fighter. You could do what he wanted.
Yeah.
Like when hand-to-hand combat, when it came down to that, he had his shit in order. It didn't look like it. If you heard him talk or speak, he's just a laid-back kind of Jesus guy. But this lad like knew his shit with fighting.
Yeah.
And for him to die in what was essentially hand-to-hand combat, well,
because the way they set it up, because like it was him going one-on-one with a zombie, and you're like, well, not a zombie, but a guy dressed as a zombie, and we're like, right, it's Jesus fighting a dude. Jesus is winning this all day. What? He's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead. That's it. What?
and it was over. Like that was it. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the Whispers, I ranked them highly, and of course, the fair. Probably my favorite scene in any TV show I've ever watched in my entire life. I can watch this back over and over and over and over again because I remember exactly how I felt when I watched it. You see, I turned my brain off a little bit. You know the way, I forget what scene we were talking about earlier, but you were saying how like they were building to this, and you know the way a lot of people, you know what they're like. A lot of people would say, yeah, yes, they're building to the fair.
Yeah.
My brain never picks up on things like that. I just thought the fair was going to be a thing that just so happened to happen later on in the season, where they go to the fair, they all get on. Yeah. Maybe someone dies, I don't know, but for the most part, they'll get on fine and they'll go home. That's what I thought the fair was going to be. That was not what the fair was.
Yeah.
How do I even describe it? I mean, like, I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, so if you're a Laps fan and you're listening to this for like, I might get back into The Walking Dead. Now, there will be a spoiler here, but like, we'll take it from the perspective of if someone hasn't seen this and it's like, why should you still watch this show? Talk about this gut punch, and you can get into it. We've spoiled so much.
Yeah, I mean, if you're still here, like, the show's fucked. You've ruined it.
Yeah, but like again, like, what can The Walking Dead still do? Because that's, to me, what that scene showed, where it's like, okay, it could still get me.
But so there's a fair that's been built up to for all season, and the fair goes just fine. There's nothing wrong with the fair, except at the end of it, after all this relaxed, laid back kind of bit of bants.
Well, you know, because you see your one there. She's there. Like, the main
that was established, yes.
Like,
I'm dumb, sorry.
No. Well, like, there was question mark. They didn't answer the question. They just had her show up in normal clothes and act normal. And you had a feeling it was her, but you weren't even sure it was her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it wasn't established.
Yeah,
so
you were like, that's her, right? That is her. I'm sure that's her. Like, but they're not telling me that it's her. And it's not until her daughter confronts her that it's like,
yes. So she's walking around, but for the most part, you're just kind of hanging out with the characters, you're chilling, and then what happens? I'm trying to think. Who's like the first person to go missing?
It was the Carol's son. Is the one they realize, because it's like what happens is the daughter. So basically,
sorry, I remember what happened. No, I remember now.
Yeah.
They were warned by the leader of the Whispers, Alpha. That's her name.
Yeah,
they call me Alpha. She is actually kind of cool when I think about it. Like, and when one of her own team caught her crying and she had to kill them.
Yeah,
she's vicious. Actually, now that I think about it, she's actually kind of cool. But she was like, "This is my fucking area. Don't come here." There's going to be a border on the hill. You'll see it. Just don't cross it. I know what you're thinking, and this is what I was thinking. It's a border. It'll just be like a bit of barbed wire, maybe probably just like a wall or a bit of sandbags, maybe something like that. Nice little, nothing too invasive, but it's there, and we'll respect the borders, and so be it. There were spikes, and again, I know what you're thinking. Good bit of architecture into the ground. I like it. I like her thinking. I did like her thinking, and I noticed there was something on top of the spikes as well. And I was like, I know what you're thinking. It's good to put something on top of the spikes, just so you know these are meant to be here. They serve a purpose. And then you realise that the things on the spikes are heads. Not like fake model heads or Futurama heads or any shit like that. The heads of the people... How do I say this? The people who discovered these heads were Rick's group. And it was members of Rick's group's heads, which they're no longer using because they are dead. So, they didn't... Yeah. It basically showed... each head one by one, conveniently, and you have to give Alpha credit here. She ordered them in such a way where their significance to the storyline was actually put them further up the line. Really nice coincidence, because if it was like...
No, they did. I don't think she ordered them. I think they revealed them. Because I don't think it was in order of the...
It was.
Was it?
Yeah, you can go back and watch it. It was in order. Okay. So that was very sound work. So imagine if it was like... Wait, what was the kid's name? I've gone blank. Carol's son?
He doesn't matter.
Well, he was the big reveal.
It was the big reveal because you're
Henry. It was Henry.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
No, because if they started with Henry and then the last one was like the Highwayman or something, you're kind of like, that's a bit anticlimactic. Imagine was like, I haven't seen Highwayman number 3 anywhere.
Where is he? Where is he?
That would have been fun. I should have done that. That would have been gas. Well, anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I mean, if you're listening, you probably already know what happened, but just in case you don't.
They just saw a clip of him, like, eating popcorn or something, and he just turns around and he's like, oh! It's like, that's the big reveal.
No, Joey's so funny. He's like, where's Henry? He's right there. Like, oh, sorry. And then the head.
I'm the one who found this.
But I should be a writer for The Walking Dead, man. That is gas. Sorry. But anyway, yeah. So the first heads are the Highwaymen. The Highwaymen are people who I didn't actually.
They were cool.
We'll get to it. I'll get to it. So it was the Highwaymen, minor characters. Then it was like, was it Tabitha? Was that her name? Anyway, some old woman, but it wasn't just some old woman. She was an old woman who like was on the show frequently. She got a lot of airtime. Yeah. Nice old woman and a granny as well. So to see like a fucking granny beheaded in that sort of fashion, like it's quite vicious.
And also as well, what you need to take into account.
But basically when it showed the head, it would then cut back to the fair, and it'd be like her husband gone, oh, where's Tabitha? I haven't seen her anywhere. But
not only that as well, this bit I found cool because they are beheaded, but there's like it's a zombie apocalypse, so they're alive. So they're like, you know what I mean? They're as zombies.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
So it takes you a second to actually cop who it is. Like there's that.
Oh yeah.
Because they don't look like themselves; they look like zombie version of themselves. So they're like, and then you're like, who's that? And then it cuts back to the fair, and then you're like, oh, that's your one, that's her, that's her, fucking, that's his, her husband.
But then the way they revealed it as the characters, I'm not gonna name everyone that died because there's some kind of no names in there.
Tara was a big one too.
We're getting there.
Sorry. I spoiled your spoilers.
But like then it would show like the kids that like Henry and the weird girl hung out with. I forget her name. But like it would be like, oh, like they're like, I know they're like probably like my age, but like you're like, oh, they're kids, and just like killed them. You know what I mean? And like. And then what happened is they'd cut to the fair before they'd cut to the head, and the fair would show someone being like, oh, where's this person? And then it would cut to the head, and you're like, oh, no way. And then it cut to, I'm awful with these names, sorry. It cut to, Judith's boyfriend on the stage singing, and he's like, looking around. He's not saying anything, but he's kind of looking around, and you have to do the thinking. You're like, wouldn't Judith be like watching him, like seeing this? No! And then it cuts to Judith, and you're like, fuck! And then you're like, and then it showed Eugene and Gabriel talking, and you're like, oh, Rosita? Oh, I was celebrating. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, Rosita? Oh my god. And it cut to the head, and it wasn't Rosita. At first you thought it was, because as you were saying, you're like, is that? And you're like, that's fucking Tara! Yeah. She's like a leader! Yeah. She's like one of the main people! Yeah. And it's like, it's like it reveals it kind of, it shows the hint of like, oh my god, who is it? And then it reveals it afterwards. So, and again, I didn't expect this. Comic readers might have known there was a scene like this coming. I had no indication. So I'm like, out of nowhere, all these characters are getting killed off in brutal, shocking reveal, twisty fashion. And until eventually it comes down to Henry, who like most of the season was based around, you know what I mean?
He was really big. The entire season was like, this is a character you need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
This is like, Rick is gone, so this is going to be one of the big people who replaces
You
him.
thought like he was going to be like Carol's kind of, the next Carol.
Yeah.
And like his
You're
girlfriend.
like, Carol's going to die before him. You're like, this guy's here to add an emotional punch to when Carol dies. You know what I mean? Like, because you're like, alright. The mother, the son, we've seen this before.
And his girlfriend runs down and she's talking to Ezekiel, who apparently dies in the comic equivalent to this. Delighted that didn't happen. She's talking to Ezekiel and she's just like, I don't see Henry. And immediately you're like, fuck. And it doesn't just cut to Henry. It shows all the heads, and it's one by one, the camera slides past them all until it comes to the final spike. And it then cuts to Carol, and Daryl, like in season 2, with Sophia, runs to protect Carol, like, don't look. And then the camera keeps panning, and it's Henry's head, and it's like, oh, fucking shit. I was shaking. And you know what the best part about this is? And I only found this out from, going on Reddit afterwards. Each character that got caught isolated themselves at some point in the episode. If you go back and you watch the episode, there's like, Henry got caught because he went to go, remember, you probably don't remember, but it was like, he was talking, the last conversation we had with Henry when he was alive, he was talking to his girlfriend, and he says, I think one of the pipes is after bursting. So he went on his own down to the pipes to get them. In the background, all these characters all isolate themselves at some point. I can't remember the
examples.
examples.
Themselves vulnerable.
Yeah, and Rosita, who we thought died, was on her own, and then Eugene ended up hanging out with her that day.
Right.
And there's a scene where Rosita's out there, and Alpha walks past her, and I think she looks at her and just keeps going. There's so much to it, and I was shaking, and I was like, college! I went straight into my college group chat. I was like, lads, who's seen The Walking Dead? I don't watch it. I watched like season 1. I was like, fuck! They got like 2 likes on Twitter. I was like, anybody see The Walking Dead? Like, lads, please, someone. Yeah. Nobody I know watches it. But this, like, I feel there's even more, and I'm forgetting shit. Like, there's so much, like, I have to emphasize stuff. I'm not doing anything by talking about it. You need to, like, watch. I mean, if you've listened to this, I mean, it's kind of ruined. You know, you're not going to feel it. But if you've already watched it, like,
you get it.
Like, you get how I'm feeling. I'm so excited for season 10. I know they're probably...
Do you think that... Right, here's the one thing, though, as well, though, because the immediate concern after that happened was that was a really cool moment, but, like, they just Game of Thrones it. They just killed off a bunch of big characters, and Game of Thrones could get away with doing that because we'd seen it happen so many times where you're like, you can't do the show without Ned. You can't do the show without Rob and the Starks. You can't do the show without this person. You can't do the show without that person. But they did, and they made it work. Do you think The Walking Dead has that in them? Is there enough juice left? Who are the characters we still care about? Who's left?
Well, see, I can only speak for myself and all of them.
Judith isn't dead.
Did I say Judith earlier?
Yeah, you said
Judith.
I
meant Enid. Sorry. Jesus Christ. No, they did not decapitate a fucking 4-year-old girl. That didn't happen.
Because, like, no, I was just thinking, because I'm like, did I forget something when you said Judith?
No, Judith.
And then the last episode was about Negan and Judith getting close, because that's one of the important relationships that'll help carry the show now.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, it was Enid. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, do I think, yeah, I mean, look at all the characters who were killed. It was like... Fucking, Tara ran her course, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I can justify each character dying for a gut punch and stuff. But, like, I'm just like, who's left to care about?
Daryl, Carol, Ezekiel, Eugene, Jerry.
Okay.
For me, loads, but I know everybody's kind of different.
No. I want to be sold on this. Because look, I'm fucking pumped for The Walking Dead now after this conversation.
Even like, just lads, I recommend, if you have seen, just go back and watch everyone's reactions. Look up The Walking Dead, whatever, season 9, episode 9, finale reaction. You know what I mean? Just, it wasn't the finale, but it was like, that's another thing. It wasn't the finale, so I wasn't expecting a big thing. I thought like, this will be the episode before the big thing.
But then, like, to be fair, the finale kind of sucked, because they had nowhere to go. And it's like, we've one episode, and there's so much ground to cover that we can't possibly, so they just kind of were like, so it snowed a few months later. And it was just like, it was a weird episode, because it's just like...
pretty boring finale for me.
Yeah, it was just, they're like, well, we really blew our load with the last one.
but what I assume from that is that it'll be a good, start to the following season then. If they had no finale that just happened, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know, shit could happen.
They need to reset again, almost, but like now...
Oh, Negan! Negan's still alive.
Negan looks like to be the big thing now. Negan's redemption as a hero.
Woo!
That looks like it's going to be the big thing now.
Give me that.
I mean? Yeah, because they planted all the seeds where it's like, we've said it on this show, we both kind of like Negan. We both kind of get him.
I love Negan. I'm holding back because I feel a bit embarrassed to say that I love the lad who bashed Glenn's head in. I adore Negan. I fucking love him.
But even, we got it. Even if, you hated him, there was a part of you that just couldn't argue with his fucking cold logic. Even when he was at his peak of being the biggest heel in the show. So now it's like, the fact that we get to cheer him as a bait. It's like in wrestling where someone's so fucking charismatic. Yeah. And then it's like, they have that one moment where they save a babyface from a beating and you're like, we can cheer them. Finally, we can fucking cheer them. Yes. You know what I mean? Now, that's the thing. So, actually, you know what? I'm sold.
Question time.
Go on.
Do you think Sadiq turned on the group?
The doctor?
Yeah, the doctor who lived to tell the story, conveniently.
Sold him out.
Do you think he betrayed the group and that's how they end up dying?
Oh, it's an interesting one. I don't know.
I don't think so, personally, but that's a theory. I just want to say as well, I said I'd get back to it later, the Highwaymen.
Let's make some time for the Highwaymen.
That's what the important thing is here. No, just Sadiq's story. I never actually told this. This part, Sadiq basically told everyone what happened afterwards, once the deaths were revealed and everyone's like, Jesus, what the fuck? He was like, right, well, she chose me to stay alive and tell the story. So he told the story, and he told it through his own words, not how she would have wanted it, they all died a horrible death. He was like, they were all put in this horrible position, and they all fought back. And the Highwaymen, just, this struck chord to me, like, they could have just walked off and survived. They weren't actually captured, but they saw everyone else captured, burst down the door and tried fighting them, and everyone started fighting together, and it was really emotional and really nice. rest in peace to Highwaymen. I never appreciated them when they were alive, but now that they're dead, I'm like, fuck, that's really sad. Because they weren't bad men. They were just like lads that seen cowboy movies and were like, we should probably do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're little nerds, like.
Look, I'm psyched. I can't wait. I'm actually buzzing now.
I can't believe it's this week. I would not have known.
This Monday on Fox is back.
It's on Fox now?
Yeah, it's on Fox.
Oh, our Fox.
Yeah, our Fox.
Oh, right.
Not SmackDown Fox. It's on our Fox. So yeah, check it out Monday. Oh, fucking, yeah, shit, man. We have like such a huge we have like still to come, because we're taping this like on Wednesday, right? So like still to come, we have like the Wednesday Night Wars. Like, from a wrestling standpoint, we've SmackDown's debut on Fox, Hell in a Cell on Sunday.
NWA.
The Walking Dead. It's a cool fucking week to be a nerd. Great, can't wait. Look, Corporate Cian, thank you so much. There's so much that we could have got to.
Oh.
We haven't even got to discuss FIFA. I wanted to touch on it a bit, but, like, we'll save it for some more time. We can open asshole blows with it. It's fine.
That's what I thought we were doing, yeah. I mean, you could have not said that and I would have done it anyway, but okay.
Which is going to be weird, because people would have heard asshole blows by the time they hear this. And it's the end. We're just broken people's brains in the time limit.
Anyway, lads, don't talk about Walking Dead shit on Monday to me, because I haven't seen it until Tuesday, but do please talk about The Walking Dead to me on Twitter. I never actually, I'm never involved in any, like, Walking Dead talk on Twitter, because nobody I know seems to fucking watch it, you know what I mean? So, I don't know.
Just make sure that, don't send spoilers, make sure that you've seen it. Like, first tweet to him being, have you seen The Walking Dead yet?
Feel free to wait a few days, wait till like midweek or the week after even.
You know what I mean? You tweet out, I've seen The Walking Dead. That's a good way of doing it. I've seen The Walking Dead.
Or I'll react crazy. Like, it'll be like a traumatized, like, did anyone see the biking head scene? Something like that. You know what I mean?
With a Lamau thrown in.
No, I wasn't Lamauing. I was freaking out.
How would you type out your reaction in a Corporate Cian way?
Probably just capital letters and crying. I actually put it in a video form. I was like, lads, did anyone, like, I never tweet in video form unless it's like an actual video, and I was just like, lads, you need to hear my voice, I'm shaking, I'm shook.
I remember that, yes, I remember. Look, I'm not led to this episode, and I'm very glad we did this episode, because you have to get me so psyched to watch The Walking Dead this week. Check it out on Fox this Monday. Cannot wait. Corporate Cian, great episode. Again,
long live Eugene.
3 hours.
Big up T-Dog, rest in peace T-Dog, rest in peace Merle, and Jerry, I hope you make it to the end as well. Right.
That's it for this episode. Oh, nice. Thanks so much.